Emily Bronte had returned from Brussels and loved being home again, where she could spend hours on the moors composing poetry. But the rest of the family was in turmoil. At Thorpe Green, Branwell, ignoring the cloud of suspicion that hung over him, continued his affair with Mrs. Robinson. Her husband had fallen ill, and she hinted that soon she might be free to marry again. Anne Bronte, the Robinsons' governess, disgusted by their behavior, gave in her notice. Passions were also simmering at the Ages school in Brussels, and Charlotte had faced terrible humiliation when her love for Monsieur Ages had been discovered by his wife.
My heart almost died within me. Miserable longings strained its chords. Even to look forward was not to hope. The future spoke no comfort. Do you think I can stay to become nothing to you? You think wrong.
The younger son gathered all together, and when he had spent all, there rose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want.
Patrick Bronte was going blind. In his old age, he looked back on these troubled times with deep sadness.
In those days, I could no longer read or write or even walk unaided. When my children needed me the most, I myself was as helpless as a child.
Anne kept Branwell's guilty secret from her father. When she returned, she and Emily retreated into the safety of their childhood world of Gondal, acting out new adventures in the lives of their soldier heroes.
There was so much death at the siege of Tindarum.
So much.
And there he lay, among the bloom.
His red blood dyed a darker hue, shuddering to feel the ghostly gloom that coming death around him threw.
We have to escape from the Republicans. I am Henry Angora.
And I, Cordelia Fitzgerald.
Charlotte came home heartbroken and threw herself into her plan to set up a school in the parsonage. She longed for a letter from Monsieur Ages, and a visit from Branwell only increased her heartache.
I have been dismissed by Robinson.
He threatened to expose you if you ever tried to contact his family again. Branwell, what shame have you brought on us now?
Lydia Robinson loves me. There is no shame in love.
She's a married woman. You must know that you can never be together. You must be strong. Forget her. Find another position and earn some money.
I shall earn some money, Charlotte. I shall write a novel.
How will that help us?
Charlotte, a novel is the most saleable article in the world. I shall expect at least £200 for my manuscript, and its completion will while away the days until Lydia can be mine.
You are a fool. Find something sensible to do and stick to it.
What do you know of true love, Charlotte?
Dear Monsieur Ages, I have tried to forget you, For the remembrance of a person one will never see again exhausts the spirit too much. And when one has suffered that kind of anxiety for 1 or 2 years, one is ready to do anything to find peace once more.
Love triangles also played a part in Branwell's novel. Entitled "And the Weary Are at Rest," he reworked a childhood story about his soldier hero, the Earl of Northumberland. It was a romance, and now the hero lived out the author's dream of being united with his mistress. Charlotte knew that they couldn't expect their ailing father to support them forever. Advertisements for the Bronte sisters' school had failed to attract any pupils, and unless they could find a way to earn some money, they faced the dreadful prospect of becoming governesses again.
One day, I accidentally lighted on a notebook of verse in my sister Emily's handwriting. They were poems from her fantasy world of Gondor, and not at all like the poetry women generally write. They were terse and vigorous and had a wild, elevating music.
Cold in the earth, and the deep snow piled above thee. Far, far removed, cold in the dreary grave. Have I forgot my only love, to love thee, severed at last by time's all-severing wave?
What are you doing?
Emily,
How dare you? That's my private writing case.
Emily's verses are wonderful.
Gondor belongs to me and Anne, not to you.
You should be published.
Shame on you.
Have you no spark of ambition?
The quarrel rumbled on for days, until Emily reluctantly agreed to publication, but only on condition that Charlotte and Anne publish their poems as well, and that they all used pen names to hide their identities.
I think the world would take our poems more seriously if they thought we were men.
I'm so sorry to disturb you. I was looking for your father.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bell-Nichols. I haven't seen him for at least the last hour. Emily? No.
Well, if you'll excuse me.
I have it. My father's curate, Arthur Bell-Nichols, inadvertently played his part in our search for pen names. Mine was to be Currer Bell. Anne's was to be Acton Bell, and Emily's Ellis Bell.
What about Branwell?
I think you'll find Branwell has his own plans for publication. This will be our secret venture. I've chosen Aylott and Jones to publish our poems. Dear gentlemen, if you object to publishing the work at your own risk, would you undertake it on the author's account? We used a considerable sum from Aunt Branwell's legacy to pay for the initial costs of publication, but I hoped that in the end we would make some money by it.
Excluded by his sisters, Branwell turned to his long-suffering friend, John Brown.
This novel shall be the making of me, John. It tells of a beautiful, gentle woman bound in marriage to a brute. She's in despair until she meets Alexander Percy, the Earl of Northumberland. I'll read some to you. Maria Thurston had known enough of sorrow in her marriage, but God had intended her to both know and feel enough of love. Percy stands before her, a man capable of exciting every feeling that a woman can know.
I don't suppose his Percy's got out to do with you, is he?
John,